Okay, I'm back. I had to break up the cat fight. Here is Machi, and Kintaro was playing really rough with her. That very, very rarely happens, but now he was not very nice, so he had to go. Oops. Okay, so that's what happens when you have a cat in your lap and you try to adjust the tripod to show the cat. It just doesn't work. Cats are much smarter than that. So anyway, where were we? So we were talking about hearing, improving your hearing, and the number 0 exercise is to be aware of the noises around you and do something to minimize those noises and become aware that now your ears are more rested than usual, that you just hear sounds more around you than usual. That's how you will notice it. Maybe you will have less tinnitus, or you will become aware that you have tinnitus. Because usually, when you are surrounded by really loud noises, you don't even notice that there's a ringing in your ears, or maybe multiple frequencies ringing in your ears. And when your ears become rested, more rested than usual, then you are aware, I have these crazy ringings happening all over the place. Don't worry about that. This is good. Now you have become aware of things happening to you, with you, that you have not noticed before. It's not that your ears now suddenly started ringing. Probably they have been ringing until now, just you were not aware, because all the loud noises around you mask that low level of ringing. And when you drop the noises around you, you will become aware of these ringing in your ear, which your ear naturally produces. Actually, it's the brain producing those sounds to cancel out part of those loud noises that surround you, to make it easier for you to process speech and hear what's going on around you. So that's number one. We become more aware of what's happening to our hearing, what's happening to us, and just don't judge it, just perceive it. Maybe even you can take notes on it, what's happening, how you are progressing, and become more aware of things going on around you. And also, I mentioned at the previous part, or the first part of this episode, that minimize the noises around you. And at the same time also, just crank down the volume of the music you listen to. If you normally listen to very loud music, then make an effort that for a few weeks, turn the volume down, a lot more down, at least 10 dB down than usual. If your system is such that even if you turn it down like 10 dB, it doesn't sound any good, then just turn it down really a little at a time. So whatever you are listening to, just one click down and listen to it like that for a couple of days, maybe a week, and then one click down. Again, a lot of time, a couple of days, one click down. So like slowly, and let your ears adapt to that. Of course, with the volume of the stereo gear, there's always, especially with high current speaker systems and solid state amplifiers, they are usually just dialed into a single volume level where it sounds great. And if you go one click above that, then it's already fatiguing and it's rough on your ears. And if you go one click below it, it just loses life, loses dynamics, loses impact, and it's not good anymore. And that's I would say, I'm not saying you should change your system, because if you like it, just go ahead with it. But it is something that if it's already too loud and you feel that with your system is just putting a strain on your hearing, then you should definitively do something about it, and think about changing your system, because if you notice that it's straining your ears, it means it is eroding your hearing, and whatever hearing you have today, a year later you will have less. And regardless how much practice you put into improving your hearing, your awareness, it will be counterproductive, because your brain will force you to shut down. If your stereo system is uncomfortably loud, then your brain will refuse to cooperate with you to expand your awareness, because it's already trying to shut down to protect yourself. You must have a stereo system that allows your brain to relax and to explore the sound around you, to come out of its cage. So I think that's lesson number 2, is become aware of your stereo, what it does, how the volume affects you, and if it's too loud and you have to listen to it too loud, then do something about it, because on the long term it's going to first impede any progress that you want to achieve, and number 2, it's going to erode your hearing. So it's not your friend. You might like the sound that you are hearing, but if it's draining you and it doesn't allow you to develop, then you will never be able to truly appreciate a much better sound than you currently have. And of course, if you don't want to have a much better sound than you currently have, and you are okay about losing your hearing, then that kind of system is fine. But I have a suspicion that everyone who is listening to my channel is here because you want to do something about your own hearing and improve it. And when you do that and you have a stereo, all you need is a stereo system that allows you to do that, that allows you to relax. And those of you who have stereo systems that you don't have to crank loud to enjoy what you hear, you are at an absolute 2 thumbs up advantage to improving your hearing, because your stereo system is cooperating with you and it's allowing your brain to open up and increase your awareness. So it allows us to put in additional awareness, additional concentration to what we are hearing, because it's not hurting the ears, it's not fatiguing. So that's it. Avoid stereo systems that cause fatigue, because those will prevent any kind of expansion of listening awareness. You might try and you might have partial successes, but it's kind of like trying to win, not even to win, just to finish a run, like not even a race, just run for fun, but in lead boots. You probably won't even get to a third of the distance in the lead boots before you collapse and give up. And even if you just walk barefoot, you can walk easily. And under barefoot, I mean a stereo system that's not fatiguing. And then to pedestrians, it might look, oh, you can't even afford running shoes. It's kind of like you have such a simple stereo system. It doesn't even play at 120 dB, and the neighbors won't call the cops, or the roof won't, collapse on you when there's a drum beat. Because I know some of you might be laughing hard at these comparisons, but there's lots of people for whom they say that your stereo is good when the impact is such that you feel that your house is crumbling around you, or when you hear your eardrums crashing or something like that, or you feel the sofa doing this under you. But that's not it. That's not good sound. It just means that it's just really oppressive. And yeah, maybe I'm not saying that all those systems that can do that are bad. No, there's a lot of good systems that are capable of doing that, but that's, I would say, it's almost like a side note to a good system, and it's not the foundation. So it's kind of like a cream icing on a cake, and not the cake. So that's it about expansion of the hearing. So make sure that your stereo is not playing too loud, and it's always that's when you can start expanding on your hearing, when you are starving your ears for information. It's kind of like anything or and everything with biology, that that the biological systems want to reach a steady state. So it means that if there's a ton of information bombarding us, which is we are listening to very loud music, then the brain shuts down and compresses down the amount of information that comes from your ears to the higher centers in the brain to process. It needs to limit it because there's too much coming, and it puts your brain automatically to that mode. Even when you turn down the volume, your brain will also comparatively shrink down the amount of information reaching your higher cognitive centers. And the problem with that is that when you listen constantly at a very high volume, at a normal to medium volume, you won't be able to appreciate it, even if it sounds really good, because your own brain shuts down and is incapable to process information. So when you start listening at lower and lower levels, you are starving your brain for information. And when it starts for information, that's when the awareness, the cognitive centers, are starting to extract more information from the signals that the ear sends to the higher centers. And you will notice that after a time, for some people it can be as short as days, for others it might take months, you will notice that you are able to enjoy that much quieter music just as much as you were able to enjoy that really loud music before. And don't worry that the enjoyment of really loud music will never go away. If you crank the volume up, you will be still able to hear more of it. In fact, you will be able to hear much more of it than you did before. So you will be also able to appreciate very loud music, I would say like 10 times more, just a number, but it's subjective, it's up to you, and every single experience is different, even for a same person, the same, even if it's like the same 60 dB versus 80 dB, exact same dB difference, two different occasions might work out totally different for you and for me, depending on how rested I am, how recovered or how tired my ears are. And in general, if even myself, what I do for that is that sometimes I get into moods when I listen to quite loud music for a long period of time. Then what I do is that I purposefully just put it to whisper level, and I listen to really quiet music for a very long time, extended time period, and don't not even once put on loud music, just super, super quiet music. And whenever I do that, I always notice that the first day or 2 days I really miss the loud music, and this doesn't even sound good, it's like crap. But after like a month, it's perfect, and I notice that I don't even need anything louder on a daily basis. And then when I really crank up the volume, it's like, oh my God, this is absolutely phenomenal. But if you constantly listen to that loud music, then it's just plain old tiring, and you won't be able to enjoy it, not even tenth as much as you would if you are constantly listening to a low level, and then on a few occasions you really go to 11. So I think that concludes the second part of the hearing improvement series, the Lifeline for Audiophiles, and please continue on with these exercises. Everyone, protect your hearing and just pay attention to your audio system, what it does to your hearing, and please comment on what your system is and how is it working for your hearing. How does it work for you? What you have noticed. Share your experiences so everyone can learn from it. Thank you. Bye bye.